8 players are left here in Cannes and just 1 bracelet. The final table begins now. We are closing in on a champion here in Cannes, France. Welcome back to the French Riviera for continuing coverage of the World Series of Poker Europe main event. I'm Lon McCarron with Norman Chad. 593 players bought in. Tonight we're down to our final 8. Chris Mooman has reason to smile. He's one of the best online players in the world.
And he's also smiling because he's fortunate to still be here. He got lucky against Patrick Antonius.
Chris Mooman, Great Britain player with pocket jacks.
And I believe the Chris Mooman raising moratorium is over.
Indeed, a raise to 65,000. Brian Roberts folds over to Max Silver. Silver looks down at King of Hearts, Ace of Spades.
Max Silver doesn't seem like the same guy without a pile of chips in front of him. The bully almost looks like a bookworm now.
Yeah, with 16 players left, he was the overwhelming chip leader, but his stack has shrunk like a 3-bed, 2-bath in Las Vegas. And he re-races to 165,000 to our current chip leader, Elio Fox. 10-5 goes into the muck. Irish pro Blaine folds. So back to Mooman now.
Pocket jacks against Ace King, Lon, is the root of more violent discontent on this globe than anything else I can think of.
1 point. About 1.55 behind.
These guys routinely 3 and 4 bet with nothing. They both have hands here. I hope they don't re-raise each other a button on their shirt.
So Mooman, well, with a lot of red chips in hand, 4 bets to 365,000.
And something tells me Max Silver will not just be calling here.
And Silver willing to play for his stack. And Mooman makes the call. So Max Silver at risk and in need of improving to stay in the game.
It's a massive race for 3.5 million chips and a critical moment here early at the final table. The winner will move into second place. If Silver loses, he's gone. If Mooman loses, most of his chips will be gone.
Indeed. So the big flop now. 5-9 queen, 3 misses for Silver. Mooman still best.
The table almost certainly rooting for Silver. No disrespect to him, but no one here wants to see Chris Mooman with a lot of chips.
Turn card. The 3 of hearts, so Max Silver down to his final chance. Chris Mooman trying to score the first knockout at this final table.
Silver needs an ace or a king or he is wamboozled.
It's the 9 of hearts, and Silver is gone.
Boom goes Napoleon Dynamite. The youngest player here with a terrific main event at World Series Europe.
Mooman scores the KO. Silver takes 8th place, worth 115,000 euros, while Mooman jumps into 2nd place, sitting with almost 3.9 million chips. Chris happily extending his stay here in Cannes.
It's obviously nice if you're in a good location, you can go out and explore the place, whereas if, I don't know, you're stuck in Coventry or somewhere in the UK, like, you just want to get the hell out of there and get home. So yeah, I mean, when you bust a tournament, it's really nice, like being in a new city and exploring the place, going out, having a good time, but until then I'm just focused on the poker, really. I've played a lot with everyone on the final table, I think, apart from Brian Roberts. Me and Jake have quite a bit of history. He beat me in a heads-up tournament online, so I kind of want to get revenge for that. But yeah, we're good friends off the table, but like, there's no friends in poker on the table. Same with Elio, we've like played a lot online and respect each other's games, but like today it's going to be a bloodbath. If I won the money, I'd probably, I don't know, finally learn to drive, because I can't drive at the moment, so get a nice car, I think.
Kranich folds over to Chris Mooman. Mooman with 10 deuce of diamonds.
Maybe he's thinking, to heck with Doyle Brunson, the 10 deuce is to Chris Mooman.
This is a new era, and Chris loves to be in on the action, and he will open it up with a raise to 85,000. Roberts folds his button. In the small blind, chip leader Elio Fox looks down at Jack 5 offsuit. He'll sit this hand out. And the big blind, Dermot Blaine, the Irish pro with King Jack.
He worked as an assistant manager in a marketing company before turning pro. Assistant managers do nothing. Marketing companies do nothing. So he was doing nothing in a place where they did nothing all day.
So he turned to playing poker. And he calls for $45,000 more. We'll see a flop with Chris Mooman. All right, heads up. Jack 9 queen, middle pair with a gut shot for Blaine. He checks. Chris Mooman loves to see his flush and straight draws.
I think it is a statistical improbability, a genetic improbability, and an emotional improbability that Chris Mooman will check behind here with a draw.
I think you are correct, sir.
Boy, I know my poker players.
Mooman with $125,000.
Well, you play 10 deuce and flop straight and flush draws. You really can't ask for a whole lot more. Blaine asking himself, does Chris Mooman have anything?
Blaine with middle pair and a gut shot does have something, and he makes the call.
I think Chris Mooman must wake up in the middle of the night in a dead sweat and scream out, why do they keep calling me?
The turn card, 7 of diamonds. Mooman makes his flush. Blaine now has a draw to a better flush, and Blaine checks again.
I think it is a statistical improbability, a genetic improbability, and an emotional improbability that Chris Mooman will check behind here with his first made hand in years.
Mooman with $275,000 now.
Blaine still asking himself, does Chris Mooman have anything? Indeed, if I'm Dermot, I'm thinking I got the best hand and I even have the best draw now.
Yeah, as active as Mooman is, it is so difficult to believe him when he does bet, when he does have a hand.
Blaine's not going anywhere.
Blaine with 2 previous World Series cashes for $9,000 total. He's guaranteed 150,000 euros here. He makes the call. All right, so a pot of over 1 million to the river we go. 8 of spades. Blaine misses that. His pair of jacks will not do the trick.
Well, that 8 puts 4 to a straight out there, so it might make it easier for Blaine to get away from his jacks.
And he checks a 3rd time. Mooman now.
Chris Mooman hoping he can get paid off here.
You probably don't figure Mooman checks here. $575,000. Dermot Blaine with a pair of jacks. Calls. And Mooman unveils the best hand worth 2.1 million chips.
Yeah, Blaine asked himself one more time, does Chris have anything? And the answer was not what he wanted.
So Chris Mooman jumps up the leaderboard into 3rd place. He has been an online force for many years, but recently he's been making his mark on the live game as well. He's scored 10 World Series cashes the past 2 summers, including 3 final tables.
I believe Mooman is the first ever to receive an economics degree simply for 3 betting light for 4 years.
Sean Buchanan from Abbotsford, British Columbia, King Jack of Hearts.
He has not been active at this final table. He's been content to let the others play marginal hands.
Buchanan is active in this hand, though, a raise to $110,000. Moritz Kranich with ace tray of diamonds.
Kranich first studied law for a while, then he studied business informatics for a while. Then he decided it would be best if he studied poker.
And he has done very well at that, passing many exams with flying colors. Here with a re-raise to $255. On the button, Chris Mooman. Queen 4 offsuit.
Queen 4 off in Chris Mooman's book. I believe that is one of his top 10 starting hands.
And that book's called the Book of Mooman? All right, Mooman. Wow, given this some serious thought, he does play the player, not his cards.
Well, this guy is an absolute joy to watch.
And there's a re-raise to $515,000.
Mooman 4 bets with Queen 4 off.
Roberts folds his small blind. Fox is big, so back to Buchanan.
And Sean can't like it much with Kranich behind him.
Trying to become the 2nd Canadian to win a bracelet here in Europe. Eric Cagelet did that in 2009. Buchanan opened the action to $110,000. Now folds. Kranich gives up his suited ace.
And once in a while, Lon, Chris Mooman wakes up in the middle of the night and shouts out, I am king of the world!
Well, he's not king yet, but he's in 2nd place. Queen 4 with an attitude working to perfection. From the very first hand, the final table of the World Series of Poker Europe main event has been a battle of relentless aggression.
I'm all in.
All in.
All in.
I'm all in.
All in.
From savvy Brit Chris Mooman to Canada's Sean Buchanan to chip leader Elio Fox.
Being the chip leader gives you some cushion, obviously, and it's really good at a table this aggressive because playing at this table shorter stacked would be really, really, really difficult.
No two cards are off limits. No bet they fear, and no challenge they won't meet. With 6 players left and a bracelet on the line, this will not be your grandfather's poker game. The World Series of Poker Europe final table continues now. The blinds are up to 30 and 60,000. The ante now 10,000 chips. Folded to Chris Mooman, 8-5 off.
8-5 for Mooman, which was the year he was born. By the way, I'm glad I'm still here because Chris Mooman is unbelievable to watch. He knocked out my man Patrick, but Chris is worth the price of admission alone.
Mooman looks down. It might be his favorite hand, 8-4.
Well, 8-4 is 1 year before he was born, which means he didn't get to see the Olympics in L.A., which is probably good because you have to have a car in L.A.
He knows there's no bonus for playing the most hands at this final table, right? Mooman with a raise to 135.
Why wouldn't he raise with 8-4 offsuit? I'd say it's insanely aggressive, except Mooman's aggression works, so there's method to his madness.
He's getting a lot of folds behind him to the big blind, Moritz Kranich. Kranich with king, queen of diamonds.
Remember, Kranich is a married man, so in terms of dealing with Chris Mooman, he's used to being on the defensive.
And there's a call from Kranich. Moritz rechecks his cards. You want to make sure all your ducks are in a row when you go up against Mooman. The flop, 8, deuce, 7, a pair of 8s gives Mooman the lead. Kranich checks.
Now, here's the beauty of Chris Mooman's game. He bet here with an 8 in his hand. He bet here whiffing on that flop. He bet here just because his left leg had fallen asleep.
Chris Mooman reaching for chips. And that's 165,000. Some of the red, some of the gray. Now Moritz Kranich.
Whiffed on that flop. But we saw Moritz play king-queen out of position and fold to a continuation bet from Mooman a few hands ago. This time he's thinking of sticking around.
And Moritz using the blue plaque. I love the blue plaque. That's a call.
Maybe Kranich thinks his hand is best, or maybe he's going to try to take it away from Mooman later.
Turn card, jack of diamonds. Kranich doesn't have that picture card, but he does now have a flush draw. And it looks like he'll lead out this time. 275,000.
Well, if Kranich was going to try to take it away, the flush draw certainly does embolden him. If I were Mooman, I'd be worried. Then again, I'm not sure what exactly Chris Mooman ever worries about.
Indeed. Mooman has no worries about his game, nor the aggression that he brings. Keep the heat on is his mantra. And he's not going anywhere. There's the call.
I don't think Moritz Kranich is all that comfortable inside that tracksuit at the moment.
All right, the river card now with $1.2 million in the middle. 10 of clubs does not help the German pro.
Kranich thinking, my turn bet didn't work. Maybe a river bet will work.
Kranich puts together 505,000. Now to Mooman with just the pair of 8s.
Yeah, a bet on the turn line, a bet on the river. That puts a lot of pressure on that lonely pair of 8s. 4 cards to a straight out there now.
Mooman replaying the hand in his mind, replaying the actions of his opponent. And look at this. There is the call.
That's a heck of a call.
Kranich turns over air, but the pair of 8s for Mooman. What a gutsy call, and he'll earn the chips.
Mooman slyly looks around to see who notices that he raised with 8-4 under the gun, then called 2 decent-sized bets on the turn in the river with a pair of 8s and no kicker.
A costly hand to Kranich, who now is down to below 1.2 million, losing almost half his stack. It wasn't the call of the century, but it definitely puts the table on notice. Chris Mooman is a force.
think you have to play a bit tighter opening hands, just because people are going to call you more and you have to play more post-flop. So I think it suits cash game players more, just because tournament players aren't used to playing like, they're only used to playing the flop and the turn, maybe not the river, you know. So I just tried to tighten up a little bit, and yeah, like, everything's gone great this year.
Chris Mooman says playing tight pre-flop is the right approach. Heck, he even likes to bluff our feature producers.
He's in second place right now, no matter how he's playing pre-flop. With 4.8 million, Leo Fox still the chip leader with over 7 million. It began with the largest field in World Series of Poker Europe main event history. It created the largest first-place prize to date. The most coveted bracelet on this side of the Atlantic is at stake. Tonight, one young man will win it all. 4 tough pros, 2 Americans, 2 Europeans. 1 hour of poker left to change their lives forever. British superstar Chris Mooman is the short stack, but don't count him out.
He could be down a ditch with 1 chip and no chair, and I wouldn't count him out.
The blinds are at 40 and 80,000 with a 10,000 chip ante. Chris Mooman will open the action with ace-king of diamonds.
He's got a hand, but we've seen Mooman open under the gun with just about anything. Mooman's hand range, I believe, would be somewhere between here and Jupiter.
He raises to 175. Roberts folds his button. There is Leo Fox, the New Yorker, with a chip lead. Ace-5 off.
And it looks like it might be Fox versus Mooman, round 13.
Fox into his familiar pose. He and Mooman have danced often at this final table. Fox with the re-raise to 450,000. German pro Moritz Kranich in the big blind folds. So back to Mooman with ace-king.
And the silent combatant step into the ring again.
Fox has had the chip lead the entire way. Mooman with almost 2.7 million is the short stack.
Win.
And he's ready to play for it all. Are you, Leo? Fox gives up the hand, and Mooman will take it.
Score that TKO for Chris Mooman.
Nice answer.
Chris Mooman's chip stack has jumped up and down, now into third place with over 3.2 million. He's at ease playing ace-king as he is playing 8-5 offsuit. Leo Fox, the overwhelming chip leader right now. Action on Chris Mooman, the 26-year-old Brit with ace-jack.
He was so nervous when he told his parents he was going to become a poker pro. His father gave him 6 months. Then after he saw how much Chris earned after 6 months, he wanted Chris to teach him how to play.
And his dad went on to win a $1,000 buy-in event for almost 100,000 euros. Mooman with a raise to 175,000 to Brian Roberts on the button, king-queen suited.
This main event by far the biggest run in a live tournament by Brian Roberts.
Roberts knocked out Barry Greenstein from this main event, earned himself a copy of Barry's book, and made Barry the money bubble boy. Roberts calls. Leo Fox in the small blind, 8-7 off. He will sit this one out. Kranich, the German pro, 9-5 off, also will watch from the sidelines. So heads up, Mooman and Roberts. Roberts with a suited king. Mooman with ace-jack, and the flop is diamond, diamond, diamond. Roberts flops a king-high flush. Mooman with the ace of diamonds has the nut flush draw. Chris gives away the lead.
Roberts hoping Mooman got a piece of that flop. Actually, Brian would love it if Chris has a flush draw, just not the ace-high flush draw.
True. Roberts putting chips together. He sits in second place still. This final table with 4 players left, 245,000.
Well, this much I know. Chris Mooman is not releasing his hand. He may even be check raising. Chapter 4 of Mooman's book is called I Check Raise, You Fold.
And Mooman fingering some of the blue plaques worth 100,000 each. And there is the check raise, Norman, to 605,000. Roberts with the flopped king-high flush.
Roberts always very deliberate. You know, one of the reasons 2 months, 2 million might have been canceled after 1 season is that he just played too slow for TV. I know I like a good action series, Lon.
So now Roberts trying to figure out how to get value from his flush. And he's just going to call here.
You're just calling the check raise. Brian probably hoping to induce a bet from Chris Mooman on the turn.
The turn card is a diamond. Oh, and he'll get action from
Yikes.
Mooman. Mooman with the ace-high flush. Roberts goes from king-high flush to drawing dead with one small card.
What a chilly deck for Brian Roberts.
Mooman not going to waste any time. $675,000.
Well, here's the problem for Brian. He has the king and the queen. If Mooman is betting a flush here, it would either be with the ace, which of course beats him, or a jack or worse, which is very weak on this board. So you've got to think Chris might be betting the ace.
And Roberts puts together the call.
Just an awful, awful turn of events for Brian Roberts.
Over $3 million in this pot.
And Mooman making sure he does have the ace.
My goodness. Ace of spades on the river. Now, how much more damage does Chris Mooman want to do?
All in.
He wants 100% payoff.
I didn't think Roberts could fold this until this moment. If Brian calls here, he's going to be down to 10 big blinds or so. Could Chris Mooman really be bluffing this spot for all his chips? Or would he really push with, say, a jack-high flush?
1.9 million more to Roberts. He makes the call and sits and waits, and there is the nut flush. Chris Mooman now with almost 7 million chips.
Yeah, Brian Roberts couldn't get away from it, Lon, and Mooman with a huge double up.
What a turn of events as Mooman vaults into second place. He now has chips to challenge Elio Fox, while Brian Roberts is knocked down to less than 900,000.
That hand changes the fabric of this final table. Roberts can barely see Mooman and Fox from where he sits.
Yeah, it changes everything. Between Mooman and Fox, they have over 15 million chips. Just two players are left, Chris Mooman and Elio Fox. Heads up for the bracelet.
Of Mooman's last 8 World Series cashes, 7 times he's finished 18th or better, and in the other one, he was 66th in the field of 3,157.
Mooman 1 is also the name Chris uses in online poker, where he's grossed over $7 million. Fox with what has become the standard raise to 200,000. Mooman with ace-7 again.
It's as if Mooman is in a maze he's never going to get out of. He just keeps running into walls, and every door he opens is the wrong one.
Talk about run good. Well, that is Elio Fox right now. And Mooman with a re-raise to 450,000. So back to Fox now with the bigger ace.
I'm all in.
And he puts Mooman all in.
Cool.
Chris will run with the ace-7, and he will be the underdog for his tournament life.
Mooman takes a stand with 21 big blinds left. Fox in position to take down the title.
Elio has worked for this moment all night long.
A7 again.
Yeah, with ace-7, Mooman crippled Patrick Antonius and his ace-queen. Even if Fox gets unlucky here, he'll still have a 2.5 to 1 chip lead.
Fox on the threshold of his first World Series bracelet. The flop, 4-6. Fox keeps his advantage, but Mooman with a gut shot.
Ace-10's the best hand right now.
Mooman looking for more ace-7 magic.
Poker reporter Tatiana Pasalic sporting the stars and stripes. Another 6 on the turn brings a chop into play.
Yeah, if it's a 3 or 4 on the river, they would split the pot. Mooman needs a 5 or a 7 to win the whole thing. Otherwise, Elio Fox is our champion.
Is this the moment for Elio Fox, or can Mooman extend the match? The river card is an 8, and Elio Fox, in most impressive fashion, goes wire to wire to claim this title.
Oh dear.
New Yorker Elio Fox puts out Chris Mooman in second place. Mooman wins 800,000 euros. But the top prize goes to the American, 1.4 million euros to Elio Fox.
And look at this celebration in progress, Lon, huh?
Well, not everyone celebrates the same way after winning nearly $2 million. Fox wins his first bracelet. Another strong World Series performance for Mooman this year.